Good morning. Thursday morning here in Fort Mac, and I this is Cowboy Jim. Okay, I hope you're having a good day, and been hanging out here and watching a little news and stuff like that, and actually going to go for a blessed walk today, which is kind of a novel idea in that I don't mind sitting on a horse and walking the horse, but not so much under my own steam. I am watching Putin speak to the world, really, and explaining to us that he has succeeded in Mariupol, and he has taken over Mariupol. And he has, except for 2,000 or so Ukrainian soldiers that are in a steel mine over there, a steel manufacturing thing. It's 11 square kilometers, quite large, and Putin apparently there are 500 people that are wounded in there, and Putin has explained that he succeeded. Well, perhaps he has, in that he has curtailed the help, assistance from countries around the world. To I think of Canada, of course, but not much. Because Canada follows like a dog with its tail tucked between its legs, and we tend to follow the United States of America. The people in the United States, they would love to have a leader that they could follow as well, but they don't. They have a great pretender, one who has made money throughout the world, through his family, through corruption, evil, really. And he is continuing on, and he delineates, well, not under his own mental acuity, I'm pretty sure, but he reads the teleprompter and he says all the things that he's going to do to help the Ukrainian people maybe survive. And every singular thing that I have watched Joe Biden do since the Russian tanks and army lined up at the border, and before, I was watching before, I was listening to Biden encourage the Ukraine that there was a good chance they could become part of NATO. Now, that was in spite of Putin saying that he demanded a buffer zone between Soviet Russia and the NATO countries. And Putin wanted the Ukraine because they are considered, as we in the West here are considered, a breadbasket, not of the whole world, but the Ukraine was considered a breadbasket of the whole world. And their ability to produce food, grains, astounding, like truly astounding. And further, as we in Alberta, we have a lot of oil in Alberta and Saskatchewan and so on, and so too the Ukraine. And so Putin wanted control of dollars, and with excess riches, a person who is beyond measure wealthy can almost live above the law, and or they are a law unto themselves. And Putin is. And And Biden and the Democratic Party down in the States, they are as well a law unto themselves. And if you ever were to doubt that, just spend a little time and study even just the last 2 years, whether it was Hunter Biden's laptops that were defamed by the Democrats as being Russian misinformation, disinformation, or Trump's fault because the conservatives were trying to make something out of nothing, and now the politically motivated news channels in the states are actually speaking out against Biden, not against the Democratic Party, but against Biden and his horrifyingly poor leadership. And they are picking on a man whom they previously had defended. To the letter, they had defended Biden. And thus, Hunter Biden's laptops, they were not considered to be valid. And as a result, many people in the news would not speak of it until after the last election, wherein Donald Trump lost. I personally don't think he lost, but definitely Biden won. And if anyone were to have lost in that election, it was the people of the United States of America, because their voting system had been dialed in to allowing people to vote who had been dead for years. And people say, oh, it's not possible, but it is possible. And when I was a kid growing up, the first election that I went to, I had to verify with my driver's license, with my social security number, I believe so, with who and what I was. And the joke is the people behind the table, everyone in our community knew who I was, because my mom was the best hairdresser in about 50 miles. And so, I mean, everybody knew our family. It wasn't because it was our family. It was because my mom was an old-fashioned Christian lady who lived with her heart on her sleeve, and she cared and shared with people. And that was probably the only hairdressing shop you could have gone to if you were broke. And my mom would have done their hair or your hair for free. That's the way she was. So when I voted, though I was well known, I had to prove who I was. Down in the States, you don't have to do that. The Democrats have been really going crazy trying to make sure that there are no such inhibitions, prohibitions against freedom, that you actually have to prove that you're an American citizen or that you were raised there or whatever. And so a fair election? No. Does it matter? No. But does it really matter? Yes, it does really matter. Because in the States, they have a president who will, as the party he represents, the Democratic Party, will do anything to get reelected. And they have been fighting a warfare of mental acuity within the confines of Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America, because many people believe that he is not as healthy as he could be. He's either the dumbest president I ever saw, or the smartest. Dumb in all his methodology of trying to give the democracy in the states a chance to survive, or the smartest, destroying every aspect of every opportunity within the U.S. that they do survive. Because Democrats, that would be liberal people in the States, they bandy about the idea that they are afraid democracy is dying. But at the same time, they're doing everything in their power to kill democracy in order to prepare the world, and YouTube will call this a conspiracy theory, and they should, because it is conjecture. It's not validated, because it can't be validated until it happens. And that is, there seems to be a preparation by governments of the people, not for the people, dear Lord, no, but an indoctrination of the citizens of the world who are at the behest of whatever political party is leading the way, and without the knowledge of where the way is going and what is it doing. Here, let's take it kind of full circle, but at least you understand why, perhaps you will understand why I do not believe in politicians nor in political parties that are one thing one day, and when they realize that what they've been doing for a year or two will cause them to not get reelected, they change. Even as Biden is touting the idea now that he will open up some oil leases in the States. But it's a pretense. It's a pretense to just get reelected. Or the Democratic Party, who has said repeatedly, defund the police, get rid of those people. Well, it sounds good. I mean, if you were a member of Black Lives Matter, you would really like the police to be curtailed, because then you would have no opposition to what it is that you choose to do. And as evidenced by last summer's horror throughout the states, and even the summer before, because law and order is something that in Scripture it says justice has to be carried out quickly. And if not, people grow lax. They don't care. Like as though someday they'll get caught. But until then, it doesn't matter. And down in the States, it actually doesn't matter now, because the prosecutors in the Democrat liberal states and liberal mayors in the Democratic-controlled cities, those prosecutors aren't prosecuting. They aren't. So the police lose heart, and they should. I mean, they should lose heart, because if they pull someone in, they may or may not even end up being charged. They may or may not even end up being confined overnight. There was a mall shooting something less than a week ago, and the perpetrator was caught, was brought before a judge in the States, and the judge gave him leniency, set a bail for $25,000. That means he had to come up with 10%, $2,500, and a bail bondsman would cover the rest at interest. And they let that, I think there were 12 or 14 people shot, just shot. And they let that man out. Whether that same day or the next day, it was real close. And with an ankle bracelet on that would help keep track of him. And they let that fatherless child out so that he could go to work. Picture if your child had been killed in that mall and the killer was let out on bail the following day and was allowed to continue his lifestyle, how you would feel. Well, that's the attitude of the people in the States, because that is what is happening, and that is what Biden is doing, and that is his game plan. Right now, the Ukraine is not a popular subject, okay? I mean, it just isn't. And it is unfortunate. CTV right now are doing the best job of reporting what is going on in the Ukraine, better than Fox News right now at this juncture. And that kind of grieves my spirit a bit, but news is determined by who is watching. And we, as a people, have really gotten hardened to a lot of the agony that's going on in the world. In the Ukraine, in that steel mill, there are possibly between 2 and 2,500 men, women, untold civilians, and Putin, in his acceptation by the world. You may not understand that, but you will if you consider that he makes billions of dollars from the oil, fossil fuel that he, in Soviet Russia, produces. Even the United States of America, under Joe Biden's tutelage, is buying oil from Russia, from Putin. All that does is that enables him to carry on with the war. And so you have a people, they're saying, yes, we will, we're going to force him to his knees. But at the same time, they're handing big dollars to him so that they can keep warm. And being warm is important. The people in the Ukraine, they probably would like to be warm as well, but they don't have that option. They have their lives with which they can dedicate and sacrifice. And the politicians in the world, like Joe Biden, and oh dear, oh my, Justin Trudeau, makes me sick, actually. Because when I was younger, I actually thought I would like to be a politician. Well, I really wanted to be a lawyer. Just couldn't study as a normal person. And I find it such a reproach that Biden says, yes, we will help, but it will not be in a timely manner, and it will not be enough. And it is like the Ukrainian people, Zelensky, they have to get down on their knees and plead with the NATO countries of the world, send more, send more, send more, because if you don't, you're next on Putin's list. Xi Jinping, he's getting ready to invade Taiwan. Israel is being targeted every day by the militants from the Gaza Strip, and are under attack. And we sit back and wonder, what type of trailer should we get? And the people in the Ukraine, they don't sit back. They fight. And the moms, the kids, cower in the corners, waiting to be liberated. Oh, not like how Putin said that's what he was doing, liberating. Well, that's just crap. And all the while, people die. And so I just encourage you, just pray, eh? I mean, really. People are dying even as we sum this video up. They're dying because of politicians who say, yes, we will help, but they don't, not in a timely manner. Thursday morning, Cowboy Jim. Pray for the Ukrainian people and pray for the Russian people, that their hearts will be touched by God and they'll do something. Okay. And it's unfortunate. God bless.